What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to give you guys a very fast update about the markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total, and the offer ends very soon in the end of March. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the markets. So I just wanted to say that when you look at SPY, we had this trend line of resistance that developed with this right shoulder for a much larger head and shoulders that's been present for many months. However, we're not going to solely just look at that. For now, we're just going to be focusing on the levels because the levels and price action tend to be king. So when looking at this, you rejected once, twice, 3 times. This is like the 4th time we're testing this area. And we're going to be watching to see, can SPY break this or does SPY get some kind of rejection? We're at this level right now. We're very choppy. What I mean is we're just stuck with between 592 and 594 for almost the entire day. SPY is just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Just look at this. We dipped, went back up, chopped completely here, pumped, dumped. We're just going back and forth. So we're waiting to see which way this ends up breaking in. But I just want to say that for now, we're testing this tough resistance, and we're going to be watching to see, does SPY ultimately lose 590 and 588 to start dipping, or does SPY end up breaking 595 to start pumping? We'll be watching this very closely, so just be very careful. So I'll be very patient. I just want to say that we haven't been able to break resistance yet, so be a little bit careful with SPY just to be safe, and we'll give this some time to develop. On the QQQ, the same setup. We're testing this resistance all over again. We could even redraw this a little bit so I can actually draw it out like this. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. I just want to say that if we could break past 520, we start pumping for 524. If we end up losing 514, we dip back down. As of right now, we're continuing to test resistance, but we haven't been able to crack past this. So we have to be a little bit careful to see if we get that rejection or not. So please be careful with the QQQ. There is that risk of it. On the IWM Russell 2000, we're just shuffling right here. We did touch this resistance at this 226 area. If we can't break 225 to 226, we may turn back down to 222. If we do manage to break 226, we could bounce, so just be careful. It could go either way. But there is a little bit of weakness, at least on this chart. For ES, we're on a bit of a downtrend. We're making lower highs just like this. So look at this resistance around this 6,000 area. If that breaks, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 6,040. If we can't break this, we could be dipping back down to about 59, the 5950 area. So it could go either way. I'm going to be a little bit careful with the 6,000 resistance to see if we get some kind of rejection on ES or not. As of right now, it's shuffling, so I'm waiting to see if we get that rejection. So just be careful. There is a lot of risk right here. Bitcoin did get this bounce, but we're going to be watching to see if we can try to hold above 100,000. It's kind of shuffling here now. So we formed kind of like a nice structure. I was talking about how I was expecting some kind of like rebound like this, a bounce off our 200 EMA to start continuing to go higher. If we could break the high right here, if we break this high here, then yes, we could be pushing for 102,000. If we come short, then we could be rejecting back down. So just be very careful with the way things are developing. So watch 100,000 resistance to see if we end up tipping back down to 97,700. For the Nvidia stock, right now we got this rejection that's been forming. We're looking to see if 135 holds, or else this could be dipping to 133. So be careful. There is that risk of downside. Tesla is also dipping a bit. It's on technically a bit of a downtrend. We're watching 410 as the main support, then 408. If we lose those supports, we're looking to see if this trend line holds us right over here. If not, this could be dipping all the way down to about the 390s again. So we're range bound technically. We're not able to hold above this resistance at 420, but we're also not losing support yet around this like lower 400 area. So we're stuck in between these levels. So we'll see if we end up losing the 406 to 408 area to start dumping, or if we end up holding support. So watch to see if that ends up being the case, as we're stuck in between. For Apple's on a bit of a downtrend right here, so we have to see if we can try to get back above 236. And if we can't hold above 229, we're looking for a dip lower all the way down to like 225 or so. So I'm a little bit concerned about Apple right here. So look at, look at 228 and 225 as our targets. If we can't hold 230, we're barely holding this, but there's a lot of weakness on Apple stock, which could drag the market lower. For Coin is pushing for now. It does look a little bit more bullish, but we're testing tough resistance at 281. If that breaks, we're looking for 285. If it doesn't break, we look for 275. So be careful at that 280 resistance. Amazon pumped very nicely. It's about 225, coming just short of my 226 targets. Then it got rejection, so we're looking for 221 to be retested. If 221 fails us, we dip more. If not, we could try to bounce, so just be careful. Look for 221 to be retested. Meta looks a bit more bullish. We could be looking for an attempt for 617. Microsoft is looking a little bit weaker. It's just range bound between 428 and 424. So I could be looking for a dip to 424. And Google's range bound right here. So it could be dipping back down to about 194. So we'll see which way this ends up going. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. So please have a good rest of your day. As far as the market goes, I think that we're shuffling right now, but be a little bit careful because we have a tough resistance, and with SPY has not been able to break that yet. So we'll see if we break it or not. I'm going to be very patient. I'm going to give this time to develop, and we'll see, guys. With that being said, I thank you for listening. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll be back in a couple of hours. Thank you, and peace out.